my name is Iffy Finch. I'm an artist, producer. Mm-hmm. Yeah. My first question is, how was it like managing Nonso at the beginning when you just finished your masters?
Yeah.
And then my second question was, the life-changing church service they didn't want to go to initially, but you had that spiritual encounter. And then how was that? Basically, how was that?
I'll answer both. I got you.
Thank you.
So, after my master's, right, I did my master's in Birmingham. And, I mean, after your master's, if you don't know, I have a Nigerian passport, so your visa is about to expire. My brother, Yuji, who is here, right, I mean, he knew how much I loved the music industry. So, I'm in Birmingham just getting ready to finish my master's, and Yuji calls me and says, yo, there's an artist that I feel that you do well with, right? And then I say, okay, cool. When I get to London, you're playing for me. Got to London, he played Nonso's music, and coincidentally, I had heard the song before on SoundCloud, but I was in the shower. No, I worked with him on radio, and tonight I worked with him in his whole career, right? But I heard Tonight, right? And I rushed to SoundCloud and I couldn't find the song. Because obviously I was in the shower. I was like, man, that song, I need to go back. I went back. I couldn't find it again. I was like, man, forget about it. So Yuji played the song and I was like, dude, I heard this song time ago. Like, yes. Then I checked on SoundCloud. I saw organically it had like 200,000 plays. And I tried to check everything. I was like, nobody knows this dude, but he's buzzing on SoundCloud. I was like, okay, you know what? Let me reach out to him. And the conversation I had with him was this. Because you need to understand, at this point in time, I'm done with my master's, right? My dad probably thinks I'm nuts because I'm throwing parties and failing in school, right? So I'm sleeping on my friends' couches at this point in time. And then I call him and I say, bro, look, I don't know what we're going to do together, but I know it's going to be something significant, right? Because one, I knew the network I had. Mind you, God was not in the picture at this point in time, you understand? I was just focusing on the things I had. I knew I had a mind, I knew I had a network, and I knew I was creative in terms of what I call oiling today, you understand? So, he was down, but the problem was he was in Canada and I was in London. So I had to do a lot of traveling back and forth. Remember, I was broke. I don't even know how I did it. Actually, no. My father, come back to Nigeria. Being in Nigeria, I now applied for a 10-year visa. Do you understand? Applied for that low-key. Based on, I want to go back and graduate for my master's. They got the ticket to come back, but I didn't even go for that graduation. You understand? I was more focused on like building Nonso. But what was happening around that time in my life was me, Mr. Easy, Yuji, Malik Berry, Jules, Leka, Dex, a bunch of us, we all used to stay in this apartment and just vibe, right? And social media was obviously popping, so we'll record it and people will be interested in our life, right? But at this point in time, Easy had Bankulais, Malik had Control, Yuji had Dance For Me, Jules produced everything. So I had friends that were doing well, but we're broke, you understand? But, we're doing well. So I was like, man, Tonight is popping. Let me find money and shoot music video. I begged my mom. My mom gave me like 1,200. I called my brother Yue in Canada. He was in Canada as well. I said, bro, please shoot this video. I'm soon going back tonight. I got to go back with something. You understand? Cool. Did that. It went well. You understand what I'm saying? Fantastic. Started making small money that, didn't really make sense because I was giving most of it to my artist so that he can do well. But Tonight was buzzing, and that was fine for me, right? I came back to England again, and I was like, no, I wasn't even in England. I was in Nigeria. I was like, man, we need to do more. So that's how radio came about. But for me, I was like, okay, after radio, we need to do more. So I called Malik, I called Jules. I was like, guys, I need you guys now. That's how Early Now came about, right? Then after Early, we did Kwasia with UG, right? So I basically used my network because I didn't have money, right? So I used my network to actually facilitate my artists. And eventually, it also became a household name because I went back to Nigeria in December. I think that December was 2017. And that's probably one of the most challenging periods in my life because I had to go back to prove to banks that didn't care about the alternative scene, that this alternative artist is somebody you should put money behind. I went to 7 banks, 7 of them said no. I came back to my cousins, Femi and Deji, and I just broke down in tears, right? I was just crying. Then one of my guys just calls me. His name is Sheyo Gunlewe, Angel. Probably the fastest man in Nigeria currently. He says, guy, I've been seeing you've been working, so here's what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to get you X amount of money, but you have to part away with this. I said, dude, I don't care. Just give it to me. I'll part away. We threw that concert, and man, it was like amazing, right? Did some shows, and then eventually some certain things happened and we split. But yeah, the summary of Nonso's story is I literally had to go through a lot of, trying times in order for me to facilitate what I needed to facilitate for my artists. Because the thing about me is I will go all the way. Like, I don't care. Even if I'm sick, I'll go, you understand? Because if I really believe, I really believe. And it's not blind vision. It's I'm seeing something and I know if A, B, and C clicks, we're good, right? So that's one. My spiritual encounter. This was with Tems. Obviously, same scenario, popping song, 0 bar. All of us squeezed inside one Airbnb. We were all just going through it spiritually, man. Because one thing about Los Angeles is this, right? It's really the city of fallen angels, man. And fallen angels are actually demons, really. And what tends to happen is every single thing about your character will be tested. Even things you didn't know existed. Do you understand? Like, imagine having conversations with people that you can't even contribute in the conversations. Because I'm sitting there with Drake, and Drake is telling me something like, yeah, man, this guy that is about to IPO in Coinbase wants to buy the Phoenix Suns. I'm like, what am I even hearing right now? Like, what am I hearing? I can't even afford Uber. This guy is telling me buy Phoenix Suns. So it creeps into you. And anybody that says you won't experience that is a liar. Because at the end of the day, you're actually in the industry. You're not observing from the outside. People are looking at you as something that you feel you're not. That's what they call imposter syndrome. I was going through it. And then one day I was in the shower and I just prayed. I said, God, man, if you're real, I need you. I need you. I promise you, 2 hours later, I get a phone call from my friend Charles. Charles says, yo, bro, why are you doing this Sunday? Let's go to church. I said, Father. I go to church. As if that wasn't enough. The pastor singled me out. He said, please come on stage. I said, God. I went on stage. And during this time, like I said, we were broke. So I was trying different things. I was trying crypto. I was trying... man, not a way I don't try, man. I tried everything. Then the guy comes and says, yeah, you've been doing this. You've been doing this. The guy now says... Because at this point in time, like I said, my faith was all I had. That's all I had. So, if you've seen the video on my Instagram, that was it. The guy said, go and be rich. Don't forget. And as soon... He said, God will show you what to do when you leave. And man, did God show me what to do. You get? The first thing is God changed what I prioritized. Do you understand? I had to focus on Him, not what He does. And I think that's a mistake most people do. God, I want you to do this for me. It's like, if I came to you every single time because of what you could do for me, how would you feel? Do you understand? You feel used. But we have such a loving God that it's like, if this is what it takes for you to get close to me, so be it. You understand? So that was that encounter, Sha. Yeah. Hope that was interesting.
Hi, my name is Aviri.
Oviri, okay,
yeah.
Oviri.
I'm a music lawyer.
Okay,
one thing that you mentioned was your team, and one thing that you left out was the lawyer part. So I'm just wondering, how important is a lawyer, especially when you're beginning stages, when you're an artist?
The first thing I will say is lawyers are expensive. So don't try and get a lawyer if your money is not choking. Because they bill by the hour. Cool, that's number one. But lawyers are extremely important. And I'll explain why. As you grow, opportunities will come your way. And these opportunities are tied under contracts, right? You need a lawyer that has your best interest. And also, let me say this. My team is really big. The 5 of us are just the nucleus, but like I said, Dan is here, part of my team as well. My lawyer is someone that is very reclusive, so he doesn't even like being mentioned, do you understand? But what I'll say is this. Lawyers are very important because the contracts that you get probably may be in your favor or not be in your favor, or there are some certain things that you want to add that your lawyer can present to you as an opportunity that you probably didn't know from a legal standpoint. Because you can know what you want from an opportunity standpoint, but there are legally binding things that could come your way, and if you're not aware and you just want you and your homeboys read the contract, then you've basically signed things into perpetuity, and God knows, how that could end. Another thing I'll say about lawyers is this. There's so many opportunities that are outside your spectrum that lawyers can present to you. For example, my lawyer always brings investment opportunities. There's this going on here, you should check it out. There's this going on here, you should check it out. That's very important, especially because this music thing here, nobody knows how long or short it's going to be. So you want to maximize everything possible, especially because of how much money you can get if you're doing well. If you just keep on spending that money, you literally have nothing to show for it. So lawyers are very, very essential in presenting opportunities that can actually increase your net worth as well. And another thing I'll say is this. Lawyers are very good people to have very stoic type conversations with. Why? Because they're just going to tell you the truth. There's no emotion attached. This is this, Pam. If you like it, fine. If you like it, fine. With your team, they could cuddle you, they could cushion you, but your lawyer will just tell you straight. Do you understand? And yeah, they're very, lawyers are very important, but you must be able to afford them. Because you guys don't do it for free, Abby. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Chichi.
Hi, Chichi.
So I have a two-part question. I guess the first part is, as an independent artist about to make their debut, what would you say is the most important thing to focus on? And then the second part of that, I guess, is how do you either ensure longevity or keep up the momentum from that release or attempt to?
Can I ask a question based on your question? What do you mean by debut? Is it a single?
Single, yes.
About to drop a single?
Yes.
Okay, does this person have any active following?
Not for music.
For what?
Just...
Okay, look.
Yeah.
The first thing is the actual music. What your debut is going to do for you is give you feedback as to the reality of your music. And you can't be delusional in taking feedback. If you release this song and choke, go back to the drawing board. Because if what you think is you're going to release one song and everybody's going to love it, that rarely happens. So your debut, the best thing you can actually do is focus on the music itself. Do you understand? Post it aggressively on your social media. Tell your friends to push it as well. Do you understand? Because let me tell you another thing people really don't realize. It's better if you key in to the concept of movements than the concept of individual. And if you think about everybody that's successful, that's the case with them. Whether it's NWA, or whether it's Wu-Tang, or whether it's Odd Future, or whether it's Cash Money, a collective sells better because it tells a stronger narrative. So if, for example, you're an artist, let it be known that you're part of collective. There's currently an artist right now that is doing so well. His name is Odumodu Black, right? He tells you he reps ABJ. Do you understand? He says, I do this for me and my N-words. I cannot say this because YouTube. But you understand what I'm saying? I do this for me and my N-words. You understand? And the truth is, people like that narrative because it's not selfish. You understand? So what I would say in terms of longevity is, you have to orientate your artistry around your community in a way that is very unique and authentic to you as well. Do you understand? You don't have to compromise your values and do the most. For example, Tems is not social, but when she's expressing herself in her music, you feel like she's talking to you. And that's her way, and it works. Why? Because at the end of the day, she's focused on the music. Do you get? So that's what I'll say. When you're releasing your debut, just make sure that what you're doing transcends you and it's also pleasing to the ear. And pleasing to the ear is just cohesion in sonics. Do you understand? If you can't really sing and you're using auto-tune, at least let the auto-tune make sense. Don't let it be like, L. And you understand? Like let it sound oiled. Do you understand? The music just has to be oiled. So that's what I'll say. Yeah. Does that help?